What up, everybody? Welcome to Travel Bros episode 27. We are cranking along here. It's about to be summer, but it is still a little cold this morning. Got a little jacket on. Jamie said it is pouring in South Carolina, but hopefully he survives the great flood over there. We're talking the Bahamas today, and I think what you're going to say right away is, guys, you guys talk about the Bahamas all the time. That is true. This is a Bahamas episode excluding Atlantis and Baha Mar. They have their own episodes. They'll be in the show notes. You can go back and reference them. There's a lot of great info. We're going to have a new Baha Mar episode out this summer as well. It's going to be a little Q&A and a property tour is the plan that I'll be putting together. So don't fret if you are here for Baha Mar and Atlantis.
We've got you covered in other episodes.
Yeah, there's plenty of content out there. And we book both of those a lot, and I'll gladly help you out if that is the case. However, today is all about Bahamas minus those two properties. In fact, we're going to start in Nassau, and Jamie's going to take us to some great hotels on other islands. Jamie's been to one of the other islands already, which I think is a fantastic opportunity to just learn about the Bahamas and open your mind a little bit, because Bahamas, you may think, oh, it's not for me. I don't want to go to Baha Mar. I don't want to do Atlantis. I don't have kids, whatever the case may be. We just want to open your eyes to maybe some other options here. Now, if you've been following along on the island episodes, actually, before we do this, we have a little correction to make, Jamie, because I made a post about the Home Alone ice cream sundae you talked about in our core episode, and people are very upset that you did not know, or you mentioned incorrectly, that the pool scene was filmed at the Four Seasons Chicago. So we will post that apology and correction. And I think it's even worse because you said you've stayed at the Four Seasons
Yeah,
Chicago,
it's
correct?
funny. After you said that, I went back and I'm like, oh, I've stayed there and I've been to that pool. And I pulled pictures from the pool. And sure enough, that was the pool.
Well, okay. So we're not perfect. It happens. But, at least we're, strong enough to admit our mistakes there. But if you are at the plaza and you order the 16 ice cream scoop sundae, the first scoop's on us. Send it to us. We'll refund you a 16th of your ice cream scoop. Cool. So back at this, let's talk flights real quick. If you've tuned into Anguilla and Aruba, neither of those islands are very well connected, as we've pointed out. Great news is Bahamas, we're going to cover 3 airports, but the first one is Nassau, which is where most of you are going to be flying into for a lot of these properties. The great news is Bahamas is super well connected. In fact, this is our first West Coast flight that has a direct flight. Alaska Airlines runs a flight out of LAX. It is clocked in at 6 hours and 12 minutes, which seems crazy. I don't recommend economy on that one, but if that's what you need, it's direct. You've got JetBlue is coming out of New York, Miami, Boston, United out of Chicago. DC is out of with American. You've got Air Canada's got Toronto covered. I don't even recognize this. Oh, you've got Bahama Air and JetBlue out of Orlando. You've got Delta out of Atlanta, American out of Philly, United out of Denver. I think that's also a pretty far one that we haven't seen. Montreal Air Canada, Houston, United, Dallas, American, Fort Lauderdale, JetBlue, and you've even got Baltimore American out of Baltimore. Fort Lauderdale, I also swear, used to have Southwest. Have they left?
I've made that flight many times, so that I'm not sure.
I don't.
They may not show up on Google Flights if you were looking on Google Flights.
They usually do, though, especially closer in now because they're loaded into there. Anyway, well, Jamie checks it out. Fort Lauderdale's got tons of coverage. You've got Western Air, Bahama Air, JetBlue, American. So that being said, just know there is a ton of flight connectivity, which I think also makes a lot of these properties desirable. Now, some of these properties are going to be on Andros Island. In Andros Island, sadly, you only have one option. You pretty much got to fly into Nassau and connect through. Then, interestingly, our third island we're going to talk about is Eleuthera. And you would think, like Andros, you've got to go into Nassau first, but you've actually got a couple unique opportunities to fly there direct. American Airlines is representing real strong out of America. American Airlines is representing very strong with Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Charlotte. So that's super cool. And then you've got Delta on Atlanta. And that's a pretty easy flight. Charlotte and Atlanta is just under 2.5 hours. As both, you can also fly there from Nassau if you need to go. And then two last flights I'm going to touch on. One that I've been dying to do, but I haven't been able to build into a trip is you can fly British Airways direct to London from Nassau. So that's always a fun opportunity. And they do have connectivity on Copa to Panama City, which is far less exciting. And then you can get around to some of the other, Bahamas Air will take you to Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, Turks, San Salvador, yada, 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 if you need to get around. Grand Cayman will also take you on British Airways. That flight goes, you can't really call it a triangle flight because it's kind of in a straight line, I guess. But
Yeah.
I don't know what the term is when it doesn't make a triangle, but it goes to Cayman, then Nassau, and then back up to London. So you could look at that as well. So that is our flights. Jamie said he wants to start with hotels on Nassau Island. Jamie, what hotels do we have that are not Atlantis and Baha Mar as your options?
So there are lots, right? So I know we talk a lot about Baha Mar and Atlantis, and they're not for everybody, right? They're mega resorts, a lot of activities. Some people are looking for something in the Bahamas that's, smaller, a little bit more, whether it's luxury or a little more intimate, not the crowds, things like that. So a few of them that I wanted to hit here. First one being Four Seasons Ocean Club. So this is on Paradise Island. It's actually right near Atlantis. And it is we love Four Seasons. We talk about Four Seasons quite a bit. It's got the great Four Seasons service you're expecting. You're getting the beautiful Bahamas beaches, easily accessible from the United States, so short flight from the Southeast. You're getting a much more intimate setting than some of these mega resorts. So you've only got about 100, a little over 100 rooms here. Just a really nice, elegant resort. One of the things that is super popular here is the restaurant Dune by Jean George. I'm going to murder his name, but Jean George something. But Dune is a really good restaurant. Lots of people that stay at Atlantis actually will dine here just because of how good the food is. So if you're staying at the Four Seasons Ocean Club, definitely check out Dune. Really great spot there. You've got golf nearby. You've got private beach, and the beaches in the Bahamas are absolutely beautiful. So you've got that going on here. You've got, you want to get away from the kids. You've got an adult only pool. You've also got a separate family pool. So whether you're looking for that romantic weekend getaway or you're going with the family and just want some luxury, you've got that. Cool feature at this property, and hopefully we can link either a picture or video or something up there, is a section called the Cloisters. It is a 14th century French monastery ruins. They were actually brought over to Nassau and rebuilt like stone by stone. So it's supposed to be really neat, visually stunning. So that's worth, checking out if you're staying there. Trying to think what else to hit here. Again, you got the beautiful beaches. You're getting Four Seasons service. You've got great pools, great service, golf nearby, easy access from US, flying to Nassau, 20, 30-minute cab ride over. You're sitting in the Four Seasons on the beach.
Well, I've got some stuff to talk about with the Four Seasons Ocean Club. Number one, it is a prominent star in the James Bond movie Casino Royale. So let's not forget about that. So if you recognize some of these scenes, like where he pulls up in the DB5, that whole poker scene, right, is filmed in the hotel. They use a lot of the lobby for the hotel as well. And hotel has a martini bar, which, very on brand for James Bond as well. One of the cool things is too, I was reading a note from I think it was Food and Wine or one of those like food magazines, that the bartender in Casino Royale is actually still a bartender there. His name is Keith. So if you get Keith, the bartender, he is the bartender that was actually featured in the movie who orders his drink. So if you're like a movieophile, I think that's really cool. It does look like at some times in the past, they've done some like neat promotions with James Bond. For the 60th year anniversary, you could order a classified top secret meal, and there was like a mission you had to accomplish, and then they wouldn't tell you what the meal was. So the hotel definitely leans into this James Bond tie-in, which I feel like is fun. Just, we had talked about the plaza with the ice cream sundae. Like, they obviously don't need to give away 16 scoop, sundae are really necessary, but I do like when hotels kind of lean into some of that, experience and whatnot. But there's actually, This hotel has definitely got a lot of filming in there. I think he crashes a car in the parking lot, if I remember correctly, because he steals like a Range Rover from the valet. And there's a lot of stuff filmed around this. It's not even like it was just filmed there. So definitely what I would recommend is watch the movie before. And I think from what I was looking at on one of those like scenes from the movie type websites as well, there's a ton of stuff filmed on that. I was about to call it Atlantis Island, but that's not the name of that. Paradise Island, right?
Paradise Island.
Yeah, where the hotels are filmed at. So just another little cool touch. This place has been on my list for a while. Sadly, I'm never going to the Bahamas without my daughter, so Baha Mar seems to win every time. But man, with it being less than 100 rooms though too, I will say buckle in for some price shock upon staying there. Every time I've really been like, maybe we could squeeze it in. It's never priced the best. So definitely somewhere maybe for off season or like a summer stay for sure. If you're looking to save some bucks.
It's a good call.
What you got next on deck for us, Mr. Jamie?
Next, we're going to talk about Baha Mar's new neighbor. So this property just opened maybe 2-3 years ago. So I think 2022. I think you've seen it. I've went by it. I've never been in this property yet, but this is the Goldwynn Resort and Residences on Cable Beach. So this is probably less than a half mile up the street from Baha Mar. So if you're going to stay, like if you're going there, why would you stay here versus Baha Mar? Good question. All right. So my case for this one, or when I would probably want to stay here is, right. So again, this is a much smaller, quieter resort. So it's 81 suites and residences. So these are ones people can buy. You can buy a place here if you want to live right next to Baha Mar. So what's nice is all of these have full kitchenettes or kitchens, really nice balconies overlooking the ocean. It's a really good location. I mean, it is right on Cable Beach. So you have the quietness of being away from Baha Mar, but you still have access to all the dining and casino and things like that there. So that's a nice plus. The pool here looks amazing. It's an infinity pool that looks out over the ocean. So all the pictures I've seen, it looks beautiful. I think the big selling point for me here is the residential aspect of it. So you can get a 1-bedroom residence, 2-bedroom residence away from the action. Some people don't like, we talked about, you don't want to be in the middle of an Atlantis or the middle of Baha Mar. So you're coming for a longer stay. I think I would say, hey, you're going with a, extended family. You maybe do a week here and a night or two at Baha Mar, get the kids the, water park and that kind of action, and then have a nice relaxing beach getaway here. So I think that's a good kind of benefit of, why you would want to stay at Goldwynn. And it looks like a beautiful property.
I would agree. And, something to consider too, the rates are pretty friendly here. A lot of times, like when I've priced them out and I've been looking, you can be in some of these residential suites for similar price to an SLS or Grand Hyatt stay. So looking at it right now, I put in the dates where I'm going to be at Baha Mar in a 1-bedroom oceanfront studio is only about $100 more than what I was paying at the Bahamas. But then if you think paying $100 more for the hotel there, you could easily save that by not dining every meal, right? Yep. At Baha Mar. So it's interesting. Yeah. I think a good suggestion here too, is I think any kind of like long-term stay or like if you're looking, hey, we want to go to the Bahamas for 2-3 weeks. It's hard to stay in a casino for 3 weeks straight, right? Maybe if you're over on the Rosewood side, but then you're talking triple the price plus no kitchen. And so that does seem like a good shout. One thing I'll have a bone to pick is it looks like a lot of these 1-bedrooms I'm seeing as max occupancy 2. Oh, okay. Once you get into if you get into the ones that are classified as suite, they bump it up to sleeps 4. So that's better. The first one I was looking at, I was like, oof, they're sleeping
Max
2.
it 2.
I was like, that's kind of a tough one. The 2-bedroom suites, they push to 6. So, you can get a decent sized family in there. The 1-bedroom oceanfront suite clocks in around 820 square feet. So it's a respectable size 1 bed. The 2-bedroom golf suite I mentioned is over 1,000, like right at 1,100. And if you go to the 2-bed on the ocean side, it actually gets significantly bigger. It goes up to 1,170. They look like they've got really big balconies outside as well, which I don't hate.
Yeah, that is one thing I read. I think they all have oversized balconies. So that's a nice selling feature.
It does look like it. Obviously, some of them are looking over at the golf course, if you're on the non-ocean side, however I'm trying to say that. I've run by this building. It looks pretty fantastic. There is always like armed security out front. Like you can't just drive into the property as well, even with it being excluded. You could argue it's walkable to Baha Mar. I don't know if I would do that most times of the year with the humidity and temperature, but I mean, it's got to be a, I don't know, 5 minute,
Yeah, I'd say half mile
under
probably at
five
best.
minute Uber ride. Yeah, if you can arrange that, not wanting to drive. What is the parking situation at Baja? Like, do they charge for parking if you're not a guest there? I've never parked there, so I actually don't know offhand.
I know if you're a guest, it's free. I'm assuming, I mean, I've never seen anywhere you would pay for it. So I'm assuming if you're just going to visit, you could probably just park in the parking lot. I don't know that for sure. That's actually a really good question.
I thought that too, because I was going to say, I wonder if Uber would beat the parking rates. And then I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a parking
I don't think there's
cost
paid
there.
parking.
So, yeah, I guess with the casino, the type. Oh, anyway, so if you have a car, I mean, reason not to drive over there too when you've got that set up. So I think that's a pretty good shout. It's a property I wouldn't really think about. It does seem to have a really nice beach, just like everywhere else in the pool. The shape of the building looks really neat as well. And I guess one thing to mention is this is a small luxury hotels property. So you can book with us or book through here, and we can add your Hilton number. You can get a lot of Hilton points for this stay as well, Hilton night credits, things of that nature. Hilton status doesn't really do you any good. It's independent, but from like a booking side, at least rack up Hilton points or something that you're already going to do and work on. Do you recall when this place opened? Because I want to say the first time I went to Baha Mar, it wasn't open yet.
It says 2022, so I don't know when in 2022 it opened.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably about right then. So, because I was going to say, I came summer 2022 to Baha Mar, and I remember running by the place, and it certainly wasn't like finished because there was like construction materials and everything. So they're probably there putting the fishing touches on. So you have to imagine too, the rooms are probably still in really good shape and things like that.
I guess.
Yeah, it seems like SLH is really turning a corner to cater to a lot of these residential style hotels, or maybe just residential style hotels are kind of becoming a trend, more of a blend between the two. But I do like it. If those interest you and you've missed it as well, we have a South Bank Turks and Caicos episode, which is another SLH property I did at Christmas, and it's fantastic. It's something else to check out if that's in your wheelhouse.
Yeah, I really like, especially as the kids are getting older, having the options to get places that are multi-bedroom at reasonable prices.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like more and more now people, even when we have been booking trips and stuff, a lot of people are trying to bring in-laws or parents or, some form of more of like a blended family. And there's a lot of properties where that gets expensive real fast. When you're 2-3 occupancy in a room, you need more and more and more room. So an interesting option, no doubt. What else we got on Nassau, Jamie?
I think that's it for Nassau. I'm going to now take us over to Eleuthera.
Okay.
This is an island that I've been to. I actually flew that flight from Charlotte down to Eleuthera. It is it's one of the not main islands, right? So it's not super populated. There's not a lot going on here as far as, dining and things like that. But there's some really cool hotels here. And if you talk about wanting to get away from the crowds, this is the place to go. There was times where we were on these beautiful beaches and we were the only people as far as you could see in either direction. So if you want to get away from it all and experience like true, beautiful Bahamian islands, this is a good, easy one to get to that doesn't require a whole bunch of hops around to get to. The first resort I'm going to hit is French Leave Resort in Eleuthera. So this is part of Marriott. One thing I really think is cool about this property, and I didn't stay here, but I did kind of drive by and check it out. Every single room is its own individual little, I call it a bungalow. I think that'd probably be the best way to describe it. So every single unit is a standalone unit, and they go from 1 bedroom up to a 4 bedroom home. And one of the really cool things is each one of these individual units comes with its own private golf cart. And why would you need that? Because this property is located so Eleuthera is fairly narrow. It's a long, narrow island, especially where this property is. So on one side is more like marina, and not like super beautiful beach. And then on the other side, which is French Leave Beach, is a beautiful sand beach. And this hotel is on the more the marina side. Right from the hotel, you're not going to be able to walk right to like some beautiful sand beach, but you take the golf cart to the other side of the island and it is just pristine sand beaches, beautiful ocean, like exactly what you'd picture a deserted Bahamian beach looking like. So each one comes with its own golf cart to take you there. I believe they'll give you a cooler with ice to put drinks in. They've got lounge and beach chairs for you on the beach. So really, really cool. It's a cool option somewhere to stay.
Yeah, real quick, the island itself. So I put a pin at Spanish Wells and I put a pin at the bottom in Bannerman Town. It's a 150-kilometer drive across the island, which is 90 something miles. That's insane from the northern part to the southern part. If you don't know what this island looks like and you're curious, you should definitely pull it up like in Google Maps or look at like a picture of it. It's literally like this. It's like this, and then it's just super long. I'm just moving my hands around for those of you on the audio form, but it seems very sparsely populated. I think this probably has to be one of the most remote places that you could fly direct from Atlanta or Charlotte to in the
I
world.
would agree with that.
I would like, man, there's not even that much dining. And when I was looking before we were filming it, French Leaf has this little brochure, and the hotels will give you these brochures and they'll be like, it's very professional. Like, you can hire an airport car service from, us to whatever, and we'll charge you. This hotel literally says, "You've arrived. We have several recommended taxis. The number one recommended taxi, Stanton Cooper, 242. The next one, Tommy Pinder, 242." It's literally just like, it's not even like a taxi company. It's just literally like guys driving taxis on the island. So like that shows you how.
And that's how the car rentals are, right? Like, I think we rented from Pinder or one of those. Like, I mean, when we rented a car from, it was similar to, what other island did we just talk about? Anguilla, where it's, it's just a local person running a rental car business on the island.
They have a referral. In fact, funny you say that. They have a referral here to a rental car company, Big Daddy's Rental Cars.
There we go.
That's who I want to rent from. Shout out to Big Daddy's Rental Cars. We've never rented there, but, great news for him.
But to give you an idea, right, you fly into ELH, right? So that's the main Eleuthera airport. You're walking off the plane on the runway, and it is a building that maybe holds like 8 or 10 people is where you're going to clear immigration and customs, right? So it's like a little building that you line up and walk through. They check your stuff, and you are good to go. There's rental cars just waiting outside on the side of the road that you grab, or cabs, and you're on your way. The island itself has some really beautiful sights to see. I mean, there was I don't know what you call it. Like, there was this giant like hole in the ground that is maybe like 30, 40 feet deep, like a big blue hole, and you could cliff jump into it and climb out. That was awesome. Where the island's really skinny, you could see both sides, right? So I don't know if that's the Atlantic and then the Caribbean, but I mean, it's visually stunning, but like you said, sparsely populated. There's not a ton of restaurants here. There's not a ton of stuff, right? You're there for the nature and the beach and the water, basically.
Yeah, and I mean, even just to point out, Marriott that we're covering is really, it's under the Autograph Collection. So it's really like an independent hotel that is just using Marriott's booking reservation platform. So don't even think of it as like, it's not like there's an actual Marriott on this island. It's really an independent hotel that's just kind of rolled into Marriott, just like how Goldwynn is, bookable through Hilton. So I don't even want you to picture this as like a Marriott hotel on this island. It's very much like I couldn't think of what word to use, but like a boutique, hotel on the island. I have a complaint though before we move on. I think you have buried the lead about French Leaf's most valuable amenity. Unlike Atlantis, where I cannot park my 150-foot yacht, I heard there are some boat slips here. If I'm cruising in on my 151-footer, can we park here?
You can. So this actually has a number of yacht slips. It can accommodate yachts up to 160 feet. So if you're coming in on your yacht, you can park right at the front door and walk up to your villa.
Oh, I see. Once we book it, it's a villa with a yacht.
I mean, I don't know what else you'd call these. Yeah, they're little villas, bungalows. I don't know what you call them.
I feel like you called it like a bungalow or something before, and now we're in a yacht.
I think they call them villas on here.
I'm just messing with you. That's fair. Well, good to know, because I was very upset I couldn't park at Atlantis in my 151-footer. So, my ship captain will be pleased.
Trying to think if there's anything else I want to hit on this one. This is a great island. So just we comboed this with Baha Mar. So we did 4 nights here, and then I mean it's like a 20-minute hop over to Nassau from here.
Okay.
So if you're looking for kind of that remote outer island away from the crowds, but the kids still want to do some excitement, this is a good one to combo with Nassau, and then also probably gives you an easier jumping off point from home, flying in or out of Nassau. So just to
How do the kids do here? It just doesn't seem like the most kid friendly. Do your kids need to be older to go here? Like, I feel like at my daughter's age, if I drug some 5-year-olds out here, they would not be stoked.
So we came with a group. There's actually, I mean, there's a ton of the one day we did a private charter. We rented this big boat and they took us out. We swam with turtles and all different critters and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's a lot you can do. You got that. One day we drove around and kind of hit all the sites on the island, which was like the cliff jumping thing, a couple different, I wouldn't call them hikes, but I don't know. There's like cliffs and water and stuff like that, which was really cool.
Okay.
I mean, there's enough to keep you busy. We went with a group, so that obviously always helps with the kids. Like they can keep each other occupied. The beaches were, I mean, a big hit. Like the kids have the beach to themselves. So flying kites and, playing in the sand, playing in the water. They had a blast doing that. The pool, I mean, you can hang out in the pool. That's good. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, if you're looking for excitement, like water slides and things like that, you're not going to find that here.
Okay.
Part of our group went over to, I think it was Harbor Island one day. It's a quick little boat ride over, and that had some neat. I think a lot of celebrities go there for like the shopping and little boutique town. I believe it was Harbor Island.
Very cool.
I got 2 more properties I'm going to hit. Yeah, it was Harbor Island they went over to. So tons of shopping and stuff. A quick ride over. It's all these like quaint little shops and boutiques and stuff like that. So if you're into that, Harbor Island is a quick little ride over.
Okay. What other hotels we got on this island over here?
The other one I'm going to hit is, where did I go? It is the Cove in Eleuthera. So this one I have not seen, but I was checking out pictures and it is beautiful. Similar kind of setup as French Leave, where there are lots of like, it's again a small property, 25 rooms, suites, and villas. Some have private plunge pools, which is pretty cool. This property does have a really neat beach right in front of it. It's I don't know if you'd call it a cove. It's like a little cove and the beach is right in the middle. So the beaches here, while they're small, they look really pretty. Great setup with the pool, looking out over the ocean. I feel like this, if you were looking for an easy, I don't want to get on my golf cart and drive over to another beach or anything like that, this would be a good place to go. Kind of plop down. The beaches are nice enough here. You've got the pool here. You've got restaurants. You probably don't need to leave for a whole ton of stuff per se. But again, this looks like a great option for Eleuthera. Probably a little bit more going on than French Leave. It is a bit bigger at 29 rooms versus like 20 rooms at French Leave. So this would be another cool option in Eleuthera.
Yeah, this place seems to be priced at a little more of a premium, but the rooms and things definitely look a little more modern. And they've got a lot of these creative, I don't know what you want to call it, like outdoor. A lot of these rooms seem to have like outdoor showers or like half outdoor bathrooms and things that are like covered. So it does seem fun. The rooms overall look a little bit, I think even just your standard room looks a little bit bigger here as well. Your 750 square feet is the smallest room at the Cove that you've got an option for, which is nice. The bummer is they cap you out at sleeping 2 on those. You've actually got to step into, depending on how you look at it, but even all of the non-villas and suites are sleeps 2. So if you are bringing kids, you've already got to step into a 2-bedroom infinity pool villa. Even the beachfront 1-bedroom villa is sleeps 2. So that is kind of a bummer. It seems standard. It's 2 people per bedroom. So the 3-bedroom private pool villa sleep 6, the 2-bedroom options sleep 4. So that's something to think about. But I also imagine, and interestingly though, they do list this, which I just caught now. They have a Kamalame bungalow. It says these bungalows are exclusively an add-on to an existing reservation. These cozy rooms feature a queen-size bed, bath with shower, and a front porch, and are conveniently located in the garden behind our beachfront king rooms.
Oh, interesting. So that's kind of like a neat connecting option.
Yeah. It is not actually connected, but they're like behind them, it seems like. They are small. It's 210 square feet that'll sleep to. But I mean, if you were to bring like a grandma, aunt, or if you have a babysitter, this seems like a great option. You probably wouldn't. I don't, my daughter's too young to obviously be put in this room. Would you leave your kids in like a separate that because your kids are older?
I mean, I
Is that
totally
like
would. Yeah, I'm looking at it. I'm like,
okay?
yeah, I'd stick both my kids in here, no problem.
Okay. What age do you think you flip that around 10, 12, or something?
Yeah, I'd be curious. I mean, if this is literally right behind it, like 10, 12, I'd feel pretty good. Now, if you're talking to, which they look like they are kind of directly behind it, very
Hmm.
close, I'd feel good 10, 12 years old.
Okay.
Probably
Yeah.
12,
So
probably 12.
it's a cool option if you have the grandparents or something. That was nice because that was where I was going to be like, that kind of shoots my family dreams down. But if they give you a good price on this add-on, I think that's a good save there, I think, for this place. And it looks like they do a lot of different experiences, a lot of the standard things you can find on properties here. I like it. This might be my favorite option on this island, just between the two. But like I said, it seems like there's a big price premium as well between the two. So that always comes with its own downsides, is you got to pay for it.
I'm going to hit you with one more option. This is where we stayed. Now, this place, I would not consider it a hotel, but it's fairly unique. So I'm going to talk about a place called Buttonwood Reserve. This is a 50-acre compound, is how I would describe it. It has 8 two-bedroom, two-bathroom condos. So the way it's set up is there's 2 buildings, each has 4 two-bedroom, two-bathroom condos, and then there's like a main great house, I would call it. Um, and that also, I want to say it was 1 bedroom. I can't remember if it had 1 or 2 bathrooms, and then like a loft area. But the great house has like double kitchen, so 2 refrigerators, 2 stoves. Like it's set up to kind of be like this local big gathering place for a large group.
Okay.
But then each 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo has its own full kitchen and everything. And now you can rent these individually, right? If you want to go, you can rent a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo, and there's going to be other people, at the compound that are in other 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condos. Or if you're going with a large enough group, you could rent out either the whole place or a good majority of it. When we went, we were by far the largest group. So we had the great house and then another, I can't remember if we had 3 or 4 of the condos. So other than us, I think there was only maybe like 1 other family at this place. So it felt like we had the place to ourselves. And what's really cool about Buttonwood Reserve, similar to French Leave, every unit comes with its own golf cart. And there's a couple staff members on site. So every day they kind of get your golf cart set up. They give you chairs if you need it. They give you coolers if you need it, kind of set you up to go. And then you drive this really neat path to the beach and you have the beach to yourself because Buttonwood Reserve hits both sides of the island and it takes up a huge chunk. So there's no homes, hotels, or anything like that either direction as far as you can see. So when you're at the beach, it's only people that are staying here, and there's very few people staying here typically. You have a private pool. I say private pool, private to this compound. So at most, you're going to be sharing the pool with, a couple other rooms. They just added pickleball courts there, which look really cool. There was some other like fun stuff there, but it is a really cool option. If you had a large group of, 15, 20 plus people, it's pretty reasonably priced. This would be a great option for a group. So I would totally go back to this place. We had a blast. Everyone that went with us had a really good time. So it's definitely worth checking out Buttonwood Reserve.
Perfect. What else we got on this episode, Mr. Jamie?
Where else we going? Let's go. I mentioned Harbor Island. Let's hop over. I think I've got one hotel on Harbor Island. I'm gonna cough. All right, so we've got one hotel on. Actually, I've got 2 hotels on Harbor Island, I believe. First one's going to be Coral Sands. This is a really beautiful looking property. Harbor Island is definitely a little bit more, they've got a little bit more luxury, I would say, than Eleuthera. You probably are going to fly into either Nassau or Eleuthera to get to Harbor Island. Easiest way is going to be fly into Eleuthera, take a cab to the harbor, and then take a quick boat over to Harbor Island. Probably like 5 or 10 minutes to get over there. Super, super close. So this is situated on the east coast of Harbor Island, and it is got pink sand beach. So that is what this place is known for. So Coral Sands has beautiful, bright pink sand beach. They've got rooms, suites, cottages, tons of beautiful ocean views. You've got, I'm looking at the pictures here. They've got pickleball and tennis courts, and they are pink and blue. So they're very unique looking. They kind of really lean into this pink sand beach and pink kind of motif. You've got swimming pool, fitness center. I mean, it looks like a really beautiful property. Harbor Island, again, has beautiful pink sand beaches. This place probably got a little bit more going on than Eleuthera. While it's more remote, there's just more built up on Harbor Island between the shops and restaurants and things like that. So this is a really nice option if you're thinking about getting to Harbor Island.
Yeah, one downside to this property that I don't love is there's no spa. However, the gym is open air. You can kind of see it in those pickleball courts. It's like right there. And they've got like exercise bikes, free weights, and some things. This hotel aesthetically is pretty awesome. Not gonna lie, I'm really into it. Like the lobby is really incredible. The one restaurant they have looks good. I think it's called the Pink Mermaid. And even the Crystal Sands Beach Bar looks gorgeous as well. It's got some of those like Instagram beach swings, that every influencer you've ever seen has taken photos on one of those somewhere. The menu lacks prices, which is unfortunate, but I mean, some of the stuff sounds pretty decent. They have Pink Mermaid Truffle Conch, which is a pizza. So plot twist there. They have the safe stuff, pepperoni margarita pizza as well. They've got like jerk chicken skewers, shrimp skewers, a shrimp burger, lobster rolls, Nashville hot chicken sandwiches. It's kind of all over the board. I think you could get by. It doesn't really seem like we're catering to families here. I don't think they're explicitly, banned. I think you kind of covered how to get here. I think this definitely seems like somewhere where I'm going to head with my like wife for an anniversary, or, I don't see me trying to drag all the kids and stuff through here. And this hotel's pretty small too, right? It's only 41 rooms and accommodations, it looks like.
Yeah, this one's pretty small as well. I will agree. I definitely think this is a very Instagrammable, just overall property.
Yeah, and this place is fresh too. Like I think they just reopened from a remodel in December 2024. So like they just, if you do come out here, this is new Instagrammable territory over here. It hasn't been blown up online, and it's inconvenient to get to. So I do think that will, keep your average tourists visiting away.
Next one here on Harbor Island again, another great option, a little bit smaller. So this one says it's 19 pastel colored beachfront cottages and residences. So this is the Dunmore on Harbor Island. Again, you're on the famous pink sand beaches, pretty easy to get to from Eleuthera. So you fly into Eleuthera and pop over on the ferry. This says lots of celebrities come here, and I could see that because it's such a small, kind of intimate property. Looks like it has tennis courts and pickleball courts, similar to the last one. Gym looks very similar, open air. So I feel like both of these properties are probably a similar vibe. This one is a little bit more of just like a beach chic aesthetic versus like kind of leaning into all the pink and everything. Beautiful looking property. It's got these, I mean, the beach setup looks really nice. It's, again, not super busy. You've got less than 20 rooms here, so you're going to have the beach probably mostly to yourself other than a few other guests. But yeah, I think this is another really good option if you're coming to Harbor Island.
Yeah, I think a good way to explain the difference between these hotels, and to keep in mind, they're literally one street apart, and they're both like walkable access into this Dunmore town here on the island. So if you're thinking like they're going to have very similar beaches, similar access, they're here. I would say that the Dunmore Hotel is like a white linen shirt in Miami. And, the Coral is like a pink polo with the collar up a little bit. Yeah, it's a little flashy, a little over the top. You're really trying, where this is just kind of like a, white linen and slacks kind of day. I like both. I like the remoteness of both. And it seems like this is, has a reputation of being quite the haunt of European and American billionaires. So if that's your thing, if you're hoping to find a billionaire husband or, befriend a billionaire, fly on his private jet home, this might be, the Dunmore Hotel might be your spot.
All right.
You
So where are we going
to, Jamie? What do we got?
Yeah, I was trying to think where we're going next. All right, so let's wrap this up with going to Andros, South Andros Island.
Okay.
So this one, I know we hit a little bit on how to get to, but this is going to be one you're going to have to fly into Nassau to get to. So you're going to fly into Nassau and then you could potentially take a seaplane over here, or you can just hop on a regularly scheduled flight over to Andros Island. Again, probably 15-20 minute flight, super easy to get to. I am probably going to massacre the name of this place, but I'm going to do my best. Kamalame K on Andros Island. Everything I've read makes this seem like, and I've looked at it on the map, makes it feel like you're on this private island. It's kind of away from everything. It is 20-ish standalone beachfront bungalows and cottages kind of spread out along the quay. They describe the vibe as castaway chic, so rustic luxe with an emphasis on nature, privacy, and personalized service. So this place really seems like you're on your own kind of private escape, private island with, if you look at the pictures, there's not much around here. So I would say when you're coming here to stay here. You're going to be dining here. You're going to be kind of doing all your activities here. It boasts having one of the only, or actually the only, overwater spa in the Bahamas. So that's pretty cool. It's supposed to be really good snorkeling and diving. It says it is located near the world's third largest barrier reef. So if you're into snorkeling and diving, this is a great place to stay. They've got paddleboarding. They provide, similar to some of these other places, golf carts for getting around the island. They say that you are encouraged to fully disconnect, right? So this is that kind of remote, leave your phones in the room and just kind of enjoy nature.
Okay.
Trying to pull up some pictures of these villas.
If you're someone who loves awards, this place seems to just rack them up. Some people put a lot of stock into those, some people don't, but you've got the leading World Travel Awards. It's won the leading private island resort 2019, 2020, 21, and 22. It's the 2022 #1 resort in the Bahamas. Travel and Leisure has it on its world's best list from almost every year between 2020 and 2022. It was the #1 resort in the Caribbean, according to Travel and Leisure in 2021. It was the #7 resort of the world in 2021, and it's also won a ton of Condé Nast Reader's Choice Awards. It's definitely up there in the echelon. What are the rooms like? What's this going to do to my wallet if I want to stay here?
So let's take a look. Let's pull some up. So I will say they all are really good size. So it looked like the smallest room was the beach bungalow, which sat at around 600 square feet, and then they go up from there.
Okay.
So I'm just going to pull up a random week in September. So let's just say we're going from the 14th of September. I'll pull up 5 nights. That's not a good date. Let's go over the summer, see if we got anything. So over the summer, looks like you are starting at about $625 per night, which that doesn't seem that bad. Let's see, what do we got? Let's see if we want to do a cottage suite. About $1,000 a night. I mean, they go all the way up to 2-3 bedroom villas, but let's just see.
Yeah, it looks like some of these cottage suites listed as 2 adults and 1 child or 3 adults. So that's where you start stepping into some of these. All the ones smaller than that are limited to 2 adults. There's a Jasmine house that looks like it'll let you do 2 adults and 2 children under 10 or 3 adults. So you do get some family options out of them pretty quick.
Well, and it looks like also you can basically do this like an all-inclusive. So you've got the room only, then you've got a dining experience in room, and then there's a premium, which I believe the premium seems like it includes alcohol.
Oh, cool.
But you've got standard guest house. This includes continental breakfast delivered to your room daily, all meals, snacks, water, standard sodas and juices. And then the premium guest of the house includes all that, plus beers, resort wines, and spirits. So it seems like you can add on food and dining so you don't have to think about anything. Seems like a good option. This would be a really nice spot for like a honeymoon or something. You could do all inclusive. You don't have to worry about anything. But I feel like at resorts of like this size, it's not really like an all inclusive. It's not like mass market junky food. It's just they're pricing it in for you.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, looking at some of the visuals from this property from the sky, like they've got some drone shots and things. It looks pretty incredible.
It's pretty, like, I mean, I think when you see that, you can kind of get a feel for how separate it is from everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it looks like this
and I think
beach...
the next restaurant...
Oh, I was just going to say, it looks like the beach is really shallow coming off the property too. So if you're not the best swimmer, I mean, just visually, it looks like the water's really shallow around there. So you might have some good room to explore and see some wildlife without having to get too deep. But what you got left, Jamie?
I'm going to hit one more, which again, I think this is very similar kind of vibe here. So this is South Andros. This is going to be Tiamo Resort. This is only 13 rooms, so 11 villas and 2 rooms. Again, this is eco luxury, kind of remote similar as the other one. So this says it's accessible only by boat or seaplane, located in the secluded beach in South Andros. So I think from reading, though, when it talks about boat or seaplane, you could still fly into Eleuthera and then take a boat over to South Andros to get here, I believe. I believe it was, oh no, you fly into, where did we say? Andros from Nassau, and then they boat you here. So a little bit harder to get to, but still, I believe they organize the second leg of that for you. This has got a really beautiful pool, looks out over the ocean. So infinity pool looking out of the ocean. I know you wanted your spa, so even though it's a small property, this one's got a spa and health club. You're going to kind of be out on your own here. So private beach with loungers. Again, you want to scuba dive, snorkel. This seems like a really great spot to be able to do that. If you're looking for privacy, looking for, get away from the crowds, 13 rooms total, like this seems like a really great spot to go to.
Yeah, and it's interesting. They seem to promote this seaplane that'll take you from the Nassau to, from what I gathered, in front of the hotel. It's the Coco Bahamas seaplane, which there's a website you can access and price out for there. They don't provide the price. However, they do provide the price of helicopter service.
I bet that's pricey.
It's $25.50 is the estimated one-way cost. Not
I'm
the
sure
best.
the seaplane's cheaper.
I'm sure, but I mean, if you got like a family and you can pile yourself into the helicopter, it can be interesting. And they provide some private air options, which I would imagine are also seaplanes. If not, you've just got to endure a little bit of travel from the main airport there. But they have a flight assistance tab on their website. So once you really start digging into this, there are at least a lot of property options here. Can I ask you a personal question just between me and you? Since
no one's listening at this point.
So no one's listening. Do you have a negative connotation to a hotel when they call themselves an eco luxury or like eco tourist hotel?
I don't even know when someone says that, I don't even know what they're trying to, the eco thing. I don't want to say it's negative, but I don't know what you're trying to sell me on there.
Because here's the thing, right? I think, I understand like LED certification. And even when we went to the Maldives, like the amount of eco responsibility they did there, like they recycled their own glass. They had a glass recycling machine on the island so they could do it without shipping it off. And I think there's a lot of these things, but the hotel we stayed at in the Maldives wasn't like we're an eco luxury hotel. I'm like, are you just telling me that you're going to give me really cheap bamboo straws and glass, or like, I don't know. It's just, for some reason, I get this weird negative connotation when I hear that, like, oh, you're just going to cheap out and tell me it's because you're ecologically friendly somewhere. I just wonder if that was just me, or I don't get the.
I think it's just a buzzword. Honestly, I feel like it's catchy right now. I don't know.
Something about when you're like asking me for $1,000 a night and you're like, oh, by the way, we're eco luxury. I'm like, okay.
I will say, when I look at this place on a map, like there's not a lot around it. So this beach, you're going to be by yourself, it seems like. I mean, even the villas here are fairly spread out. I'm just looking 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Like the 10 or so villas along the beach. There's a good space between them. So, I mean, you want some privacy. This is probably a good spot.
It almost feels too remote for me.
I think out of the two, the last one, Kamalame, whatever, however you say it.
Yeah,
I think I would probably pick that one over this one just based on what I'm looking at, but I think they're both good options.
Okay, perfect. That's it, right? That's all our Bahamas hotels?
Yeah, I think that's what we got. I will say, I think, depending on which one of these you're going to or thinking about visiting, it's a good way to see a different part of the Bahamas that is not the typical Atlantis or Baha Mar. At the same time, it's an easy one to combo these with. Like I said, when we went, we did Eleuthera for 4 nights, and then Baha Mar. We ended at Baha Mar for 4 nights. So they're easy trips to kind of tack on to a more resorty type stay. If you got kids and they need that.
Perfect. And before we go, because I don't think we touched on it independently on some of these properties, can we help people book these properties? What can we give people with some of these properties?
For sure.
What's the scoop here?
Yep. So most of these properties are going to participate in some type of luxury program. So whether that's Four Seasons Preferred Partners or Virtuoso, where we're able to get you complimentary breakfast, $100 property credit, welcome amenity of some sort. A lot of these based on availability, we may be able to score you an upgrade at check-in, early check-in, late checkout. And just in general, we can help you kind of organize things and give you suggestions, plan, things like that. You can click, we say we got a link in either the comments or I don't know where you put it, Joey. Tell
Link
me.
in bio.
Link in bio.
Yeah, perfect. Listen, I think I would love to see some people reach out and do some of these interesting properties. I learned a lot. I think it's kind of changed my perspective on maybe what I need to be doing on my next Bahamas trip. I think I got to come up with some great clickbaity title like the Bahamas no one on YouTube will tell you about. But, we'll work on that. But, man, awesome. This was a fun episode. I thought it was going to be a little harder to do non-Atlantis Baha Mar, and I think we're cranking in right close to an hour. So I love that.
I'm excited to check some of these out, hopefully, at some point.
I agree. All right, guys, we will catch you later.
See ya.
Bye.